You're listening to the Rebel Scum Podcast.
You are always scum. Rebel Scum.
From odds making to list rankings, we've got you covered. And don't forget to join us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
Hey, Brock.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going fine. I hate those things.
I cannot breathe. Now I know why people are rioting when they have to wear these.
They're rioting because they just don't want to realize that we should be wearing them.
Actually, you have to. You've been mandated to. Your area that you live in.
Yep.
It is the law. You have to wear them in public. Where you are. Where I am, it is not yet. But most people do. I think most people, although I will say the cottagers are out where I live now. The cottagers are out and about. Mm-hmm. And there's the pop. I had to get tonic water, and the pop on the shelves of my little shopping grocery store, which is a terrible grocery store, but the little time, completely out. They had like terrible ginger ale left. Like the Canada Dry was gone. Like, but there was no tonic water, very little soda left. My glasses are starting to fog up. You can't see on the screen, but yeah. So anyway, but they were not wearing masks. So I think people are escaping the city to come here to not wear masks. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. I'm Brock. This is
James.
Yeah. Well, you take that thing off.
I feel like I'm Shredder in the Ninja Turtle movie. This is your family. I am your father.
They are babies.
I've been watching. I was on a binge of those movies. I watched the original 3, and I just love. You don't realize this when you're a kid, but when I watch it as an adult, all in a row, you get to watch like the demise of the animatronic turtles and Splinter. Like they go from like, you're like, whoa, they still look good, to, oh my god, it's like Country Bears quality at Disney World or something by the third one. It's just like, oh my god. I did see a deleted scene with the original April O'Neil in a deleted scene from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows. Okay. Anyway, Star Wars is front and center as always here at the Rebel Scum Podcast, except for last week when we didn't talk about it. Oh, by the way, I think TeePublic, I think when this goes up, TeePublic will still have a sale going on. I don't know if it's a store-wide sale. I haven't checked, but Girls with Sabers page is having a sale 30% off, and our merch, they're selling our merch on their page also.
Nice. So
you could purchase it there for 30% off, or purchase there. They got a great new logo, so
yeah.
Gotta shout them out.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to get right into the show, because it's I don't know if you know about what we're talking about. Like if you probably figure gathering the news, you might have come across this stuff, but I kind of saw it and I was like, I'm not touching. I didn't want to talk about it because I am not because the dumbass that this whole thing started from, that it originated from, is just a hater and someone that just wants clickbait stuff. But the problem was Andrew Fantasia texted me about it, and Andrew's out of all kind of loops, you know. So when he sees something, it's like, okay, maybe this is something. Maybe this is something we should discuss. Because I did not want to talk about this. It is the dumbest thing on the planet, bar none. However, you know, the problem is, and I think where this came from and why they think it's genius is, the DC movie universe is doing what we're about to talk about. What the rumor is with Star Wars. So, for anybody that doesn't know, I'm not going to say the name of the YouTuber, but it's a jackwad, number one. It's PewDiePie.
It's
PewDiePie. The plan is Disney's going to retcon or wipe out the sequel trilogy entirely, and they're going to use the World Between Worlds to do it. The thing that I hate about this is it's plausible, obviously, because they have the worlds between worlds to do with it with.
Yeah.
And like I said, the DCEU, whatever it's called, they're doing that essentially now with Michael Keaton coming into the Flash movie and all that stuff, and they have all these Jokers and stuff, and they're able to do it. But it's completely different IPs, where one of them, it exists, and the other one, I think the world between worlds, for me, Brock, I don't know about for you, but it was a moment in Rebels that existed solely in that Rebels moment, and it might play a part in another book, maybe High Republic has a little bit, but I think it stays away from the Skywalker saga. That's how I feel about the world between worlds.
Like, I enjoy that episode. I think it's one of the high points of Rebels, but I don't think it's worth bringing into movies because, quite frankly, I'm tired of time travel. And like, look, it worked great in Flashpoint in the comics. And yeah, they could use it in the movies, and I would be okay with it. They used it in the Flash show, and it's like, it was just sort of like, come on. but
for DC, and you know more about this than I do, but I feel like it's a different animal because they can, it exists within that world already, and fans have accepted it. And I think moviegoers, if they're like, Flashpoint, I'm bringing up Michael Keaton again. If they bring up Michael Keaton as Batman, everybody will be like, oh, I'm going to go see Michael Keaton return. It's different. We've already had Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford. We had them return. There's not like, whoa. Like if they said that and they're like, well, we're going to bring back Mark Hamill, I'd be like, oh, wow. But they already brought him back. So I think it's a moot point. So somebody who just wants clicks, and damn you, Andrew Fantasia, for bringing it up.
You know, this is something that's not going to go away for a while, and I'm not.
That's true.
I'm not trying to say this concept is a bad thing, but cancel culture is going crazy right now. So it's just because you don't like something or something is flawed, it's like, let's cancel it, let's forget it. Like, we can relate this to Black Lives Matter and I guess it's just primarily Black. It's so hard to keep all the issues in your head now these days. We witnessed it here in Canada a little bit on social media where they're like, cancel Canada Day, which was the last weekend, and I understand their argument, but now it's getting out of hand where everyone thinks that if they complain about enough things on the internet, it'll go away or it'll go the way they want it to. Like, why would you want to see a new version of the original trilogy or the prequels or the sequel movies? Let's just move on. Because if you've listened to us before, Mandalorian is a fantastic piece of work. And that's completely new. It's completely new.
And you're right.
Like they made something new. Let's just continue to do it. And I think even 3 years ago when we started this podcast, we were already talking about like the problem with the newer movies, and I like the new movies, is that they spent too much time trying to attach the old characters into the new ones, and you didn't get to know the new characters as much as you would want to.
And you didn't get to know the old characters and what happened. That's the thing. Like you said, you don't get to know the new characters, but you also don't get the old characters, right? Like Han Solo's we're back, Chewie. Well, where were you for 40 years?
Yeah. And logically, it makes sense to do what they did because it's like you can't, like, you have to include these characters so you get the old viewers or the occasional Star Wars person to come and watch. Is like, what's going on? Even though I think that's a flawed thing as well, because people will learn new things if you give them a provocative enough story. People will like things as long as whatever it is what it is. But it's like, why are we still harping on this? Like, let's move on, because like what we have been saying on this podcast is like, I can't wait till they make their new thing, which is, I guess, Mandalorian is the first actual new Star Wars, but it's not the movie yet. You know, we need a movie series. So why? Like, am I wrong? Is it just they want to cancel
the sequel
Last
trilogy.
Jedi and the sequel trilogy?
Probably because, well, The Force Awakens was loved until it wasn't. It was kind of like a lot of movies go like that, right? Where like Avatar, everybody loved Avatar, and now everyone's like, "Oh, why are we getting more Avatar?" I hate it, except for Fantasia, who loves it. But everybody's like, "I hate Avatar." Like, okay, but you went to see it 17 times in the theater. Do you really hate it? And look, everyone knows I'm critical of The Force Awakens, but I had the time of my life watching that movie in the theater, and I'll watch it again. I don't care. It's Star Wars. It's fun. It's a donut, right? I've called it the actually, I bought a donut for my birthday, and I posted a picture, and executive producer Heidi Feder said, "Is that The Force Awakens?" But it is. The Force Awakens is a donut. I go in, I enjoy it, I'm done. Move on. You kind of call it. It's all ridiculous to me. I get and why dwell on it? And Kylo Ren says, "Destroy the past, kill it if you have to."
Yeah.
And everybody hated that line, or they loved I can't remember if they hated or loved it. It was at one extreme or the other, because God forbid anybody is something. So, but the thing is I don't think you kill it. I think you expand from it and you learn from it. And the thing that the Mandalorian, story-wise, has done is it's taken what we've known up until that point. And we know how the Return of the Jedi ends, and they're like, "This is what we're going to do now. This is the world that this galaxy is now." And then, they've done the same thing with technology, where they've taken the technology and they've taken it a step further with that, and that's what it comes down to. And there's no reason why whoever, Taika Waititi obviously is next, I guess, but there's no reason to believe that they can't do that going forward. Where you go back, and when you watch the Skywalker saga, you can watch all 9 of them and not be a man baby about it.
Man baby.
So sad. Like, it's sorry, Brian. I'm 39 now. It is so pathetic when I go online on social medias or YouTube and I see people my age, a little bit younger, a little bit older, whining about movies. You can talk. I'm not saying discussing them and having conversations about them, but whining about them. Who cares? If you don't like it, move on. Yeah. But anyway, so that's my piece.
No, I fully agree. That is how. Take that thing off. But you're right. It's all about. If you don't watch it and you don't talk about it, it goes away. If you don't give it the attention it needs, if you don't pay for it, it goes away. And I don't even know, did we even see this boycott of Star Wars that was supposed to happen with like Rise of Skywalker? Like, to my knowledge, it made the money it needed to make, correct?
I don't think it was as lucrative as they were hoping.
Yeah. But it made its money back, yeah?
Yeah.
So, like, that's still a success, arguably. Like, with those movies, like we've said this before, with Marvel movies and Star Wars movies and Disney movies in general, it's like, if they don't make $1 billion, it's not a success. But that's just, like, an insane concept now. Especially in COVID times, where it's like, if you can make enough money on your streaming of these new movies, great. But like, Star Wars fans, we said it before, just complain. I know we're complaining about Star Wars fans, so it's like if you're saying you're gonna do it, then do it. Don't just okay, I'll go see it, but I won't like it. Like, come on, it's the reason we make fun of Rob so much, where it's just like, come on, man. If you don't like it, then don't come see it. But people are gonna go see it multiple times. What you said with Rian Johnson's line in Last Jedi is like, destroy the past. It's sort of like, I know it's not his message to the fans, but it is kind of valid to this discussion, where it's like forget about what you saw. We're making new stuff now. Just let it go. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you have to. I don't know. I get annoyed. I will say this, though. On July 9th, at least in North America, I think all over, though, it's Solo, a Star Wars story, will be released on Disney+. And I think we should just, that day, we should dedicate to it. We got to reach out to, I've been lazy. Actually, I've been lazy. I've been really working a lot. We should reach out to the Resistance broadcast guys, because they started the Make Solo 2 happen. And that day passed, and the hashtag, but July 9th, everybody should just get on Disney Plus and pull it on Solo and just watch it. And just keep watching it on a loop and just go and go, because if you want them to notice Solo, I'm just changing the subject, probably. If you want them to notice Solo and get the attention, that's how you do it. Get those ratings up on the movie when it's on Disney Plus, and they can see that it's lucrative, that they can do it. I believe they have made sequels to movies based on the sales of VHS tapes back in the 90s. I think that's how like Austin Powers happened. Wasn't it like Austin Powers made a little bit of money, then people rented it, and they're like, we got to make another one. There's a bunch of movies like that where they make enough in that. And I think the Power Rangers movie almost got a sequel because of toy sales. So I think, honestly, you want to make the splash. The hashtags are fine. I'm not taking away from that, but you got to watch it, and you got to watch it on their platform. And okay, you bought it. That's great. But you hit them where it hurts. And Disney Plus is where they want to see it. And you get enough eyes on that, enough views, people at Disney will take notice, and then maybe we get that spin-off of Tubes.
If I wasn't paying attention, I would have thought you meant like it's the sequel to Holes.
Tubes, the sequel to Holes. I watched Holes in the theater, actually.
Oh, fantastic film.
Yeah.
I never read the book.
I didn't even know there was a book until right now.
Yeah. But yeah, you raise. Sorry, what day is Solo
July
coming
9th,
out?
July 9th.
Oh, perfect. That's next week.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think we should watch it. We should do a podcast that day. What day of the week is that? If it's Monday, it would work out if it was Monday. That we could just live
today.
Okay, it's Thursday. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll plan a podcast for that. How about that?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I'm like looking at Disney Plus now. It would be cool if you could just create a queue of things and just start them over again. Oh, wait, what's this? There's a plus. Is that a watch list? Yes. Okay. There you go. Okay, I just put Tarzan in the thing. So I wonder. I'll test it out later. I don't want audio to start spilling out. Oh, I know. Here's another. I guess you can't put it multiple times, can you? Because you just untake it. I was thinking, it's like if you could make a watch list, and if the watch list just kept playing, you just put Solo in there like 10 times.
Yeah, just 10 times. Just play. That's what I think we need to do, though. We need to just play it, and everyone's got to play it as many times as they can. Even if you're not watching it, just walk away and let it be on. Let them know that you want this to happen. Because, look, I was big on Solo going into it. I loved it when we watched it. We watched it for a second time on our birthday that year when it came out. Even if it's not a Han and Chewie sequel, the Maul and Kira especially, like, you'd love to see more of that. I mean, Han and Chewie, I'd love to see more of because I think they'd be a lot of fun. But we know where they end up. Like, I know Han, I know Chewie, I know what happens and all that. Lando, same. Although Lando, you could probably, how does he get Cloud City and all that? That might be a fun adventure as well. So there are aspects to it that I think they could really explore. But I mean, whether or not Donald Glover wants to do it, I don't know. But Amelia Clark should be up for Ray Park. He's basically pitching right now.
Yeah. There's no reason. Yeah, maybe it's not called Solo 2, but there's no reason they can't go back to that storyline. Right?
Exactly.
Like with Perfect Strangers, you get a spin-off called Family Matters. With a show called Golden Girls, you get a spin-off called Empty Nest.
What a great show Empty Nest was.
Yeah. And then off of that was Nurses.
Yeah.
But anyways, gosh. There's no reason it doesn't work. And I mean, think about like the movie Get Shorty. I was talking about this on the weekend because there's a sequel to that called
I Own It.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Get Shorty.
And with The Rock.
Yeah. And that's why we were talking about it.
And Vince Vaughn's in it also.
It was his like first like real comedic.
Yeah, it was The Rock. Vince Vaughn showed up in it. Travolta. Get Shorty.
Be Cool.
Be Cool. I Own It. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Get Shorty is such a good movie, by the way.
Yeah. So it's just like you can have a movie. And my point is you can make a movie and then have a sequel to it, but it doesn't have to say Get Shorty 2, the shortening.
Yeah, and the thing with Be Cool is, if I remember, you can watch that without having seen Get Shorty.
Exactly.
And
that's my other point. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I even watched Get Shorty before I watched Be Cool.
I guess the problem with Solo to solo series right now is that if this Filoni-verse that they're calling it, if this
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, Filoni. I heard it from somewhere. I'm hoping it wasn't Josh, but the Filoni's like at the TV show, if it's all shared, how do you get that in there? I mean, who knows if Obi-Wan and other thing are going to be in there? Either casting will be in there, but that's the only thing I could see where they're a little bit hesitant on. But if enough people watch Solo, especially on that first day, for the first week, if enough people watch it, I really think Disney will pay more attention to that than to the hashtags, because as great as hashtags are, the cancel culture, like you were saying, Brock, I think that they've reached this, they've plateaued in a way where it worked for Sonic the Hedgehog. It worked for, what else did it work for? It worked for something else recently too.
Snyder Cut, I suppose.
Snyder Cut, yes, that's the one. Snyder Cut it worked for. But look, it really ruined the Shredder in the first Ninja Turtle movie. I've been saying that forever. Yeah. So you got to be careful. Like the Ninja Turtle movie, everyone was like, he's got to be Japanese, and I get it. But they had a story where he wasn't, and it. They totally messed everything. Like either do one or the other. Don't try to combine them. But they couldn't figure it out. So like, and I mean, and that's Ninja Turtles. So who? I mean, it's Ninja Turtles. No one cared. But there's a place for it, and it, they made Turbis canon, and I think it's been heard. But I don't think they're going to be looking to. Disney specifically is going to be looking at hashtags to make another movie, because as much as it could be trending, that doesn't translate to box office receipts. Like, look at Snakes on a Plane. Yeah. Everybody was obsessed with Snakes on a Plane. It comes out and nobody went to go see it.
Yeah.
You got to get the snakes off this Monday to Friday plane.
Yeah, but like you make a good point too. It's like Disney owns Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and those are all the top movies for like the last 5 to 6 years. Like they don't need your advice. They can do what they want.
Yes. Exactly.
So it's just like it's really boring to me that we have to continuously have this conversation. I think it's valid. I'm not poo-pooing your rundown, James. I think you do an excellent job in our rundowns. But you know what I mean? I
didn't want to do this. By the way, we're changing our name to Boom Dick.
Boom Dick. Why?
Because that will get us more views and people will believe everything we say. Did you know that they are going to remake the Ewok movies?
No, I did not.
I made it up, but I heard that they're going to use the World Between Worlds and they're going to redo the Ewok movies.
See, I do want to go back to the World Between Worlds. I want to know what Palpatine wanted to do with it. I don't feel like they really give you an answer because it's Palpatine, right?
There is a good story to be told in there, but they should not use it in any way to change, to course correct anything, to retcon anything, to redo anything. They should stay away from that. Just you tell us why did Palpatine want to be in there, and I hope if they do that there's a grander reason than just he wanted to find Ahsoka.
Yeah, it's like it's just too much time travel. It's too easy to retcon it.
That's one thing with the new Star Trek movies with Eric Bana's character where he time travels, and it's just like, or Spock time travels too, and I'm just like,
yeah, I didn't mind that, but like, yeah, I know what you mean.
I think the first movie I was like, and then the second one they're like, we need to go find old Spock. I was like, why? Because you want Leonard Nimoy in the movie?
Yeah.
Time travel, it's a crutch, is what I like to say, unless it's Back to the Future.
And the other thing, because I can already hear the people listening is like, what about Dimensions, Brock? Because that's another thing that's coming up, right? Like, because with Doctor Strange, Dimensions of Madness, there's a lot of talk, and I think the Eternals will work into that somehow too. And I believe, well, I don't know if DC's got any plans in the movies, because I haven't really read. I only know just Michael Keaton's like in talks to be in
that's all that
these
matters.
DC movies. But like I don't watch any of the Berlanti verse of like, Arrow or Flash. Not that I haven't watched them. I lose my, I don't know, I kind of got bored with them, so I stopped watching. But I fall into like Instagram wormholes on the fan pages for that, and I don't really need to watch a show because like these are pretty educational and like there's a lot of like especially in the last like oh god, what was the last big crossover event of the last season? It was like Crisis on Infinite Worlds or whatever. I know I'm saying that wrong. But because of that, they were able to break down that like this DC movie is this like this is Earth 616 is Marvel's like this is Earth 2 and this is Earth 8088 or like the Lucifer one is Earth 666, right? So I don't know if they're gonna put that in the movies, but someone's kind of broken down like, oh, these are all the, which is a thing in the comics. So it's like it's either gonna be time travel or like dimensions, which I'm not saying they're not interesting, but it's just like it's been done. So like frankly, people need to stop just using the same ideas on the internet and be like, oh, you can do it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you can. I see it in Spider-Man 2 European Vacation, which by the way, I love that movie. That movie is, I just love it.
Yeah.
When they're like, it's the inner dimensions or what come from another dimension, I was like, I hope to hell you're lying. Because I didn't want that in I don't need that in Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? Like that's not why I watched that Spider-Man movie. If you made like a big event with everybody, Avengers 17, fine. But in my little small Spider-Man movie, I just want to see a kid swing around, punching the bad guy in the face. I don't need any of that. It gets a little bit too much. Not to say it can't be fun. I just don't need it.
But they made that movie, James, Into the Spider-Verse, which was a fantastic film.
You're right, but it was also different.
Yeah,
I don't know how to describe it.
It was thought out. And like,
and so it's animated also, so it's like a different. I'm sorry, people get mad, but it's different rules apply to animation.
Yeah, no, totally, I totally agree.
And they took advantage of it, which was the right thing to do.
I will fight it. As one of my, I think it might be my favorite Spider-Man movie now. Like, it's just what they did in it is fantastic. So,
mine would be 2 European Vacation, Sam Raimi 1 Spider-Verse. But they're all no wait. You know what?
I thought you were gonna put Spider-Man 2 in the.
That was number 1. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Like Spider-Man 2, Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that was the one. But no,
you said European Vacation.
Yeah, after Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
But Amazing Spider-Man 2, I have the softest spot for that movie.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what? They're all number 1.
Yeah, they are really good.
I don't even care.
Well, let's just be honest. Sam Raimi number 3 is like.
We'll bring that one down a notch. But you know what? I've never left a theater from a Spider-Man movie and been like, I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, very true. If anything, Spider-Man 3 is good for like just internet memes. You're like, yeah, like Anakin before it would breed so many Bananakin, and I'm a person. But yeah, I don't know. Like, let's also think about this. Like, if we weren't in a pandemic right now, this would not be a lead story at all.
No. But
because there's no Star Wars news, like you said, I was looking up news and it was every other story was just like and then Ryan Johnson tunes in on his thoughts on the prequel in a good way.
I don't know if that's in your news, but I will say this. I am confident he said that same quote 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
and that's not a new quote because somebody mentioned like, why are they digging up old stuff? And he did just recently say it, but he said that a long time ago, like 2-3 years, maybe 1 to 2 years ago, for sure. Yeah. I know that he said it. That wasn't new because I was shocked that it was back in. But he was responding to say something good about the prequels, so that was different. Yeah. But he said that before. Yeah. So, but people don't pay attention. He ruined Star Wars. He ruined my hair, and I think honestly, he flattened my beer.
But God, where was I even going with that?
Every other story.
Yeah, no, if there wasn't a pandemic, we wouldn't even be talking about this because it wouldn't there would inevitably be some kind of new Star Wars news of some sort. But now we have all this time. And on the flip side, I think we're getting some great scripts coming our way based on nothing, but like, what else are they doing? Like, they have nothing else to do. Let's just write a Star Wars script. Like, maybe this is good. Maybe this is gives Ryan Johnson time to write his stuff. Taika Waititi's writing stuff. We're ready to go, baby. Once we kind of get out of this, the floodgates open and we're fine.
I'm tweeting Ryan Johnson right now. Do you think he's an IPA guy? I think he's a big IPA guy.
Where is he from again? I know he's from the States, but like where? California? No.
Film school.
Film school.
He was born in film school.
No film school on Facebook. Yeah.
Ryan
Did you
Johnson.
see?
He was born.
Yeah. He's like Midwest or something. Or maybe he's LA. I feel like he's California. Ryan
Craig Johnson. Imagine if they spelled Craig Criag. He's born Silver Spring, Maryland. Oh, Maryland. He grew up in Denver, Colorado, though, until 6th grade when he moved to San Clemente, California. San Clement? Clement.
No, you said it right.
And then, yep.
Oh, yeah, because, like, I just thought California, because Brick, like, that high school definitely looks like it's California.
He moved there when he was, like, grade 6. Was like 12? Yeah, so he would have been there for the important years of his growing up life.
That's cool.
But I think he's an IPA guy.
Have you heard that Disney Plus will be showing some Comic-Con at home panel S or whatever you're going to call it, Zoom calls on what was supposed to be Comic-Con. So, like, there's a lot of Marvel stuff. Nothing huge. Apparently, there's not going to be any trailer for, like, WandaVision and Winter Soldier and Falcon. Nothing about Star Wars, but I was looking at a comic book site. I was like, have you heard about this? So they'll show it.
No, I have not.
At the end of the month when it was supposed to happen.
I knew that. I know San Diego Comic-Con is doing a lot online. I didn't know about Disney Plus, though.
Yeah, so Disney Plus is hosting some of these things. I don't know. It's, as always, when you look it up, it's like very vague and no real information. I just saw it on Instagram, and when you go to the San Diego website or San Diego Con website, it's like, yes, we are doing it. I'm like, more information?
I hope Celebration does something.
Yeah.
I doubt they will, though, to be honest. Laziness. Saves money.
A Star Wars thing that I did this week. I've been listening to the podcast Newcomers with Nicole Byer and Lauren Lapkus, and they're watching Star Wars for the first time. And this was their final episode, and they watched. Oh God, what did they watch? Oh, Spaceballs. But their guests were Ahmed Best and Mary Holland.
Amazing.
From the Jedi Temple Challenge, right? They were talking about the show, and Ahmed Best said some stuff that was really, really interesting, and now it's completely slipped my mind. One story was he and Natalie Portman went with George Lucas and his kids to see Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And he didn't know that Michael Jackson wanted to play Jar Jar.
Like a conventional Jar Jar.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's fantastic. What was the other thing? The more important thing. I was like, oh man. It'll come to me. Anyways, good episode. Go check it out. Fantastic podcast.
Okay.
It was awesome.
In World of Star Wars this week, I noticed that the price of the new game will be $54.99 Canadian.
Yes.
Which is on par with what I said on last week's podcast, where I said down south they got ripped off on their video game prices. If you guys want to save $1, order it here, get it shipped to you. You'll probably save a lot. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Just saying. $5. The exchange rate is brutal right now.
Yep.
Brutal. Star Wars Celebration. I think we get our refunds in August if you refund now. It takes till August.
Yeah, I keep checking my PayPal thing to see if it comes up.
No, I think they tell you August if you buy a credit card anyway. So.
Okay, cool.
All right, odds.
Sure.
Today's odds are brought to us by Patreon. Thank you everybody who supports us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, where we do stuff. We just
Thank you for
Lauren Romo from the Galactic podcast just responded to my "Hey Ryan Johnson, you're an IPA guy?" with, "Oh, this is a great question," because people want to know what kind of beer Ryan Johnson. I think he's an IPA guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in with like he likes like a peach sour beer. I'll be like, I don't know, but I think it's IPA. He could be an American Pale Ale guy. I don't think he likes dark. Very hoppy.
Right. I was waiting for it. It's like, how long till he says too hoppy or very hoppy?
He likes it hoppy, just like the porks. All right. Patreon. Thank you so much for all of our Patreon supporters. They are as follows, Brock.
Executive producer Heidi Feder, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Standenforth, Janet Rubio, Rachel Alford, Austin Schur, Scott D, Andy Higgins, Josh Price, Mason Hope, Matt W,
Raz, Rural Farm Boy, Frank Perkins, Sooner, Thrawn, Neil Lowry, D, Raven Spencer, Gleek Play 1, Automated Joy, Disney, Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Aaron Quinton, Jericho, Kane, Girls with Sabras. I'm still going to go with that one, the Sabras. Check out their store. Their new logo is dope. And Josh over at the Nerdy Den. He's there. I was just talking to him today because he does a lot of recording, and I was like, slow it down. Oh, there's a good spelling mistake on the third on. Nothong. Did you read that? Nothong. Oh, that's not. Never told me the odds. That's our topic today. Star Wars fans, calm down. Nothong. They're very top. All right. First today's the odds of the sequel trilogy being retconned. I'm going to go high on this one. 97 million %. I'm going to go 0.001. I think there is a chance. I think, though, Brock, there is a chance that something that happened in the sequel trilogy will be retconned at some point. But it won't be remade, though.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, arguably, technically, a lot of things were retconned when Disney bought the Star Wars
even
universe.
Before them, George Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like it doesn't exist. I'm going to go 0%. Like, come on, just move on.
The odds of the original trilogy being retconned.
No, 0%. 100%. Go F yourself.
0.05. A little bit higher on that one.
Oh,
yep.
So you're saying there's a chance.
And the final odd is the real one. The odds of Gary Whitta and Chris Weitz, who both of them they wrote. So Gary Whitta wrote if you don't know, wrote the first draft of Rogue One. Then Chris Weitz came in and wrote it again, creating a new Star Wars story. A Twitter user. I have to find it. A Twitter user named Matthew Vlosak asked if Gary Whitta and Chris Weitz would do another one, and Gary Whitta's response was, "It just so happens Chris Weitz and I have an idea for something new set in the galaxy far, far away that I would love to do with Gareth. Of course, it's not that easy, but maybe one day." So that's your basis for it. He mentions Chris Weitz and Gareth Edwards all in that. So is there a possibility of this happening, Brock?
I think so. I'm gonna go 80%. Why not? I mean, the movie's good, so.
That's the thing. It's not just good. It's the one that everybody agrees on.
Yeah.
It's like the fans are genuinely happy with Rogue One. It might not be their favorite Star Wars movie, but nobody's like, I hate Rogue One.
Yeah.
So if they have an idea, if they haven't approached Lucasfilm, that's one thing. But how have they not been like, okay, well, you guys made people happy. Let's see what you got now. To me, that seems like a no-brainer in this world of cancel culture. They're the only ones that haven't been canceled by Star Wars yet. So although you hear rumblings about things, but I'd be down for it. I'm gonna go full Brock because I also just feel like Lucasfilm is pushing on in some different direction. They're moving away from the people they've used in the past. That's
possibly, yeah.
That's what I think. Better or worse? For better or worse, whatever. I don't know. All right, that's the odds. You want to go over to the news?
Let's do it.
Hollow news. Da, 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 hollow news. Anyway, hollow news. My mic is off.
Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. Do you like books? I like books, and guess what? There's a Clone War books coming out. Books. It's called Star Wars: The Clone Wars: Stories of Light and Dark, and it's kind of an interesting concept because it's not a new story per se. It's you taking the premises of the episodes and then just fleshing that out, or having a second part, or having something that's occurring during that. They will have an anthology of 11 stories by 11 authors, including 10 retellings of memorable episodes and arcs, and one original Night Sister based story. So right now, if you want to check out sort of synopsises, I believe there is sort of like a little bit of something for you to read from the actual book. You can go over to starwars.com. But it's very, very exciting. It comes out August 25th. I think I might pick this up because I love Clone Wars. And in the same vein, there will be some books coming out for The Mandalorian. I do not have a release date, of course not. Sorry about that. But it will be coming out. Of course, I think we've already spoken about it on like one of the live streams. The Art of the Mandalorian will be coming out, of course. The Ultimate Dictionary or whatever it's called for The Mandalorian will also show up. There will be a Mandalorian original novel by Adam Christopher, and we don't know if it's just a retelling of the first season or if it'll include some hints to season 2. That will be dropping in December, I believe. And then there's going to be a whole smattering of young readers and storybooks and junior novelizations of The Mandalorian coming out as well. There should be comics, but they haven't really announced any titles, so that's very exciting. So this will be hopefully coming out between now and October. So who knows? Yeah, that's some good stuff. If you're a Mandalorian fan, definitely keep your eye out and once there's a little bit more information. And as we announced earlier, since San Diego's canceled, that doesn't stop Funko from releasing some exclusives. They have released, I think, most of the images for the exclusives that will be coming out at the end of the month when San Diego was supposed to happen. And one of them is the Sith Jet Trooper. Like we've seen the Sith Trooper, but this one, he's got the jetpack and he's up in the air. So it's really fantastic. It's going to be sold on Amazon later in July. I don't believe Canadian Amazon gets them as quickly. So if you have Prime, you can also order from the States, or maybe you live in the States and you're all good. Either way, keep an eye out for that. It's a really interesting pop. And, you still can get your Comic-Con exclusives, even though you can't go to Comic-Con. And this is your Hollow News.
Top five. It has to do with the Mandalorian story. Top 5 novels we would like to see based off of the Mandalorian TV show. Mandalorian TV show, brought to you by Patreon. An IG-11 prequel story. Most of mine are prequel stories. An IG-11 prequel story. I would like to see what is up with IG-11.
Mine is sort of a prequel story, supposed to. I want to know a little bit more about this Mandalorian covert. I want to know who these people are. I want to know more story. Perhaps you can just make it a Mandalorian storybook where it's like, this is what happens with Death Watch. You could fit a lot of interesting stuff in there.
I want to know the story of how Baby Yoda ended up in that hut. Was he like Moses in a river and his drifted off?
What hut? Like in the 3rd episode? Or
the first episode when they find him. How did he get to that spot where they found him? Why was he there?
I don't know. Was that a hut? That felt like a
whatever it was. The
building house.
And the room he was in. How did he get there?
The room where it happened.
That would be the title.
Yeah, that'd be sick. My number 4 is going to be Grief Karga and how he became
Moff
the
Gideon.
thing. Moff Gideon. Oh!
I like Grief Karga, but Grief Karga was almost my number 3, but instead, or my number 3, but instead I went with the Armorer. I want to know more.
Nice.
That scene in the last episode when she takes out the troopers, dope.
My number 3 is going to be, I guess most mine are prequels.
Well, it's hard to go sequels because we don't know what happens in the second season.
Yeah, exactly. It would be weird. Like, why would it be about what the next season is?
Yeah.
A Cara Dune as her time in the rebellion. I think it would be kind of cool if they could, like, somehow intermingle it with like the story of Iden Versio in Inferno. From like Battlefront 2, like that. They're kind of like foils or opposing characters, even though Iden joins the rebellion. Like that'd be kind of neat.
So that was almost my number 2 for real. But then I changed it to probably the only one that would this is probably the only book that would matter. This is the one that everybody wants, and it's Amy Sedaris and the droids hanging out with B. Arthur on Tatooine. It's like Tales from the Cantina or something. It's just them talking. Maybe singing songs together. I don't know, but that is my number 2.
My number 2 is gonna be something about Quill. I don't know. Maybe you get to see him on. Maybe it's Cloud City. Who knows? It's Subjugation. I just I want to know more about these characters.
My number 1 is Quill.
My number 1 is Baby Yoda. Who is he? Thank you. Which I know the show is going to be about, but you know what I mean?
Well, maybe the show. What if the show's not about who Baby Yoda is? Because the show's
be
called
so
The
great.
Mandalorian, so it could just be about the Mandalorian. I think Baby Yoda is going to be shipped off to Ahsoka. That'll be what the Ahsoka show is about. Then she'll ship him off to Ezra Bridger. That'll be the Ezra show. He'll go in the world between worlds, give him to Cassian Andor before the events of Rogue One. That's what the Cassian show's about. But while that's happening, he's going to give him to Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is how you tie them all together, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, absolutely. Wi-Fi. Why do you have a Wi-Fi sticker? Entrada. What does that mean?
My dad went to, this cost, I don't know how many euros, but it was like a couple cents. My dad, when he went to Italy last year, got me these signs. These are souvenirs from my dad. Signs. Like,
oh my God.
that's how it happens.
Oh God.
I can't put it on though when I have the headphones on.
No.
With
the headphones on, how can I breathe?
Episode 175. That's
Wow.
like a milestone episode. I feel like we should have done something a little bit more
No.
milestone-y. We should have cared. We should have had a special guest. Oh, speaking of which, we have somebody on the line.
Ring, ring, ring. This is record to tape.
Let's see if Ryan Johnson got back to me. You have been blocked. Not really, but that wouldn't surprise me either. I feel like he gets harassed enough on Twitter. I feel like, he doesn't deserve that. No answer from Ryan Johnson. I guess he's busy right now.
He'll reply to you once we're done.
Once we're off, he'll be like, God, no, I like Honey Brown. You a PBR guy? Saw a commercial today. Patrick Swayze in a PBR commercial.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Way, way back before he was famous.
Yeah. Before he was not alive. R.I.P.
175 episodes. It just keeps getting better and better, don't it?
Yeah. We talked about Star Wars.
Star Warsing it here. That's a song that I wrote called Star Warsing here. I realized, I gotta change my calendar. Hold on.
Oh God.
Oh!
175 episodes of this. I really hope you can see the calendar in his camera.
Stormtroopers for July, and they're all like shooting up, and it says "Crush the Resistance." I forgot to change this. July. Happy America Day on Saturday.
Yeah. Dude, I wonder if they get extra day off.
Oh yeah, we would.
It's on the week because it's on the weekend.
Yeah, I wonder if they get the Friday or the Monday, or they get to decide. Probably the Monday,
Yeah.
I would guess.
Cool.
We had hours on Wednesday. Kind of sucked on a Wednesday. Like split the week up. It was weird.
Weird.
Like I didn't mind not working in the middle, but I was like, what day? And especially with like the way the world is, I was like, I don't know what day it is right now. Even though I was in the office Monday and Tuesday, I was still like, I don't know what is happening. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I was the same.
Yeah. But anyway, anything else you want to say?
No. Okay, bye.
All right, I'm James. He's Brock, and he was always Scum.
Rebel scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.